I've worked with leaders who call themselves leaders for nearly 40 years. Very, very few genuinely impress me. I'm going to go through very quickly some of the things that I feel leaders should do well. First is leaders are not lazy. Typically, leaders are people who, using the same number of hours as the rest of us, use them better. They're focused, they delegate, they have trust in people, they select well the people they work with. They are hardworking people. Secondly, here's one that sounds like it comes out of a textbook, but it's true. They do develop and communicate an inspiring vision of success. They have got clarity about what they want to do differently and better. They are able to get people behind a statement, of a feeling of some tangibility that there's somewhere better to go to. Let's all stay where we are isn't what people who want to follow a leader want to hear. They don't consider failure. That's not to say that they are arrogant, that they are not realistic, but they have a lot of self-belief. They have a lot of driving passion about what they do, and they project that very clearly. They are very different to managers. Managers and management, to me, management is about just that, control, keeping things the way they are. It's almost like a maintenance function. Leaders are not maintainers of anything. Leaders change things. Leaders completely rip up sometimes what's going on. That's very different to what managers do. Leaders don't manage, managers don't lead. That's not a complete truism. There's some overlap there. Leaders change things. Managers do their best to make the best of how things are. They do balance strong self-belief with humility. They control their ego. Yes, you need an ego to be a manager. Yes, you need an ego to be a leader, particularly a leader. Leaders who are the best sort of leaders are not those that are so caught up in themselves that they aren't grounded. They still have humility. They remember the importance of connecting with people. They control their ego, and they do it very consciously and deliberately. Leaders don't stop learning. That might surprise some people. You won't find them on training courses very often, but what you will find is they keep each other's company, they discuss things with each other, they bounce ideas off, they watch others very clearly and in a very focused way. They read very widely very often, though not always. And so leading and learning are very much the same thing. Leaders are people who stay ahead by knowing more and being able to do more. Warren Bennis is my favorite leadership writer, now the late Warren Bennis, and without going into more detail than I have here, he talked about leaders needing courageous patience, the ability to stay true and to believe that the time will come, if it isn't now, for an opportunity to arise to do what you want to do as a leader. So these aren't people who just give up. They have resilience, they have persistence, they have courageous patience. Leadership is not something that is a top of the tree, top of the pinnacle, top job role. Leaders have followers everywhere in organizations, at every level and every part of organizations. So it isn't something which is confined to a particular role or a particular pay grade. Leaders change things. Leaders split people. Some people like what leaders do. Some people don't like what leaders do. So leaders make friends and enemies. And the more a leader tries to change something, the stronger the delineation, the differentiation between who likes what they're doing and who doesn't. They've got to be able to put up with that. They've got to be able to cope with it, and they relish it. Leaders that are effective don't just come and go and there's no sign that they were ever there. The best sort of leaders have a lasting and positive legacy left behind. That's not to say that they've changed things that never adapt and modify, but there is a sign that they were ever there in the first place. And I think that's not true for a lot of leaders. So there you go. That's how to find me and my various free bits and pieces. I hope that's been helpful and useful. It's a very quick run through, but I hope you found it of value.